Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for this week's video I am doing a bit of a book review from all the books I've read so far this year. I thought it was pretty fitting that we film it upstairs because if you've seen my recent vlog, I just finished doing that wall. So it's pretty apt to do a bit of a book review kind of video in front of that. I'm also just really obsessed with it at the moment. I've read 36 books so far this year, which is actually probably the most I've read in a long while, really. It's been a fun time. There have been good books, bad books, everything in between. But I've got here some questions that I pulled from Rachel Catherine's book review. I love her book content. She did like a video basically the same as this. So I thought I'd do the same thing. She really inspired me. So I'm going to put the question up on the screen and then I'll show you guys my books that I think fit the answer. Okay, so let's get into it. The first question is, what is your favorite book that you read so far this year? Obviously, I can't just pick one book. So I've picked a few based on like different categories. So my favorite action sort of superhero book is Catwoman Soul Stealer by Sarah J. Maas. I have read this many times before. I just reread it this year, but yeah, I felt like it was so good. It's just a standalone, but it's really hooking, and I love you get to see the perspective from Catwoman and also from Batwing, and like as they try and figure out each other's identities, and so much stuff goes on, and Catwoman is just so cool and kick butt. I really love her. So yeah, this is always one of my favorites, and honestly every time I reread this, even though I've read it before, I will literally read it in like 24 hours or 48 hours. Like I zoom through it because it is pretty addictive. So yeah, Catwoman Soul Stealer by Sarah J. Maas. That's my favorite like action book so far this year. My favorite romance, I used to not be a big romance reader. I've gotten into it more this year. I've read some really good ones this year, a lot. It was hard to pick, but I've decided to go with The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This, I think this is my favorite so far this year. I loved it. It's just a classic sort of rom-com, like light reading, enjoyable. It was like a fake dating trope, so if that's the kind of thing, you might like this. I also loved there were heaps and heaps of like science references throughout. Considering like I'm studying nutrition and science at uni, I loved that. It felt like a bit of an inside joke the whole time. So yeah, this is probably one of my faves. But it was really hard to narrow it down. I had a lot of favorite romances this year. My favorite thriller kind of romance, this is like a thriller romance one, is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I'll just put a photo of it up here because I read this one on Kindle. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it is actually on there, so definitely recommend. I have to say this is my favorite Colleen Hoover book of all time. It is also my favorite like thriller that I've read so far this year. It was really good. I read this one in 24 hours, which is insane, but yeah, it's just so good. There are a lot of themes going on. I love the characters. I love like the dual point of view, of course, always good. And there's a lot of like tension and unresolved conflict throughout the book, which just made it like, I don't know, I felt like on edge when I was reading it. I never knew what was going to happen next, but it was amazing. And then my favorite series that I've read so far is Bridge Kingdom by Danielle Jensen. Again, I read this on Kindle. It was on Kindle Unlimited as well. I'll put images up here. So the first book is Bridge Kingdom and the second book is Traitor Queen. I really liked this one. I again read this one in like a few days. The character Lara, the main character, she is so awesome. She's so kick butt. Like honestly, wow. The things she goes through is kind of crazy, but she's just amazing and so strong, and yeah, I love it so much. It's really good. It's just a duology, so a shorter series, but I really enjoyed it. I wasn't as keen on the love interest. I can't even remember his name, so that's an indication. He kind of annoyed me sometimes because I think he just needed to get over himself a bit, but other than that, the series is great. Okay, so the next question is the most anticipated release for 2022. So this is meant to be for like the rest of 2022, but honestly, I don't have any anticipated releases for the rest of the year. I'm not really up with what books are being released and that kind of thing, so I'm kind of just playing it by ear. But I don't have it with me, my friend's currently borrowing it, but I was super excited at the start of the year when House of Sky and Breath was released. That was my most anticipated release because obviously I'm obsessed with Sarah J Maas, and it was so good. Her Crescent City series, I reckon, is amazing. Throne of Glass is obviously my favourite series by Sarah J Maas, but Crescent City is second, and House of Sky and Breath did not disappoint, so yeah. Okay, so the next question is, what were your biggest disappointments of 2022? I have 3. So the first one is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I like this. Like, there wasn't anything bad about it. It was a really nice YA dystopian read, a bit like on the level of the Hunger Games, Divergent kind of thing, but probably not as good as them. It's just that I felt like it was really overhyped. I've seen it like all over Instagram and stuff. People are obsessed with it. And it was definitely good, but it wasn't that good. I had my hopes up because I thought it was going to be better than it was. And it was a bit more, I feel like it's more directed at younger teens. Maybe not, yeah, like 14-year-olds. It's not, a lot of YA is more sort of directed at like older teens, whereas this was definitely, I reckon, for younger teens because it was a bit basic. The other book that I found a disappointment, and this was a real disappointment, was Ironside by Holly Black. A lot of thoughts. So, I loved Holly Black's The Cruel Prince series. That is one of my favourite series of all time. It's amazing. I really recommend you go read it because it's so good, especially if you love YA fantasy. But Ironside was not it. This was released like ages ago, so maybe that's why. It's probably one of her first releases. Yeah, it was released in 2007, and you can tell it was not great. To be fair, this was the second book in the series. I thought it was the first book, and I read like over half of it before I realised it was the second book, so I might not be the best judge. But it was so basic. Nothing really happening. Again, probably should read it if you're like 12 years old or something. Not if you're any older than that. It was a bit boring. And yeah, I struggled to finish. Okay, and the third book that was a really big disappointment, honestly probably the biggest disappointment of the year so far, was Zodiac Academy, which is by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. It was terrible, shocking, worst book I've read in a long time. I feel kind of mean saying that, but it really was. A lot of people on Instagram love Zodiac Academy, like it's everywhere on Instagram. I've literally been dying to read it for like a year, and I finally got my hands on it because it's on Kindle Unlimited, and it was so bad, so bad. Oh, it was just really weird. Like, these two twins go to this fantasy world and they find out they're like heirs to the throne, and they go to a school and stuff, but everyone at the school is like really mean to them, but like full on, like totally just, I don't know, running them into the ground, like horrible people. And like there are heaps of these men in the story who like will insult them and all sorts of stuff, but then at the same time like make sexual advancements and stuff, and it's just really weird. It was just terrible. I persevered through it, but I probably should have just DNF'd it because it was really bad. And I'm never ever reading any more from that series. Okay, the next question is newest fictional crush. I don't think I really have any necessarily. Not like any new ones, but of course I've reread. Oh, I'm so clumsy. I've reread Throne of Glass and a lot of the series this year. I reread it like every year, and there are a lot of Throne of Glass characters that will always be like my fictional crushes, like Rowan, obviously, Fenris, Aedion, Dorian. Yeah, so nothing new. Okay, sorry if the camera angle slightly changed. My memory card just got full, so I had to delete a bunch of stuff and press re-record. Anyway, what I was saying is the next question is, what are your favourite characters from reads you've read this year? One of my favourites is Lara from Bridge Kingdom, which I was talking about earlier. She's just so kick butt. She reminds me a lot of like Sarah J Maas's female characters, because she's just like so tough and cool and cunning, and I love it. Other favourite characters, I recently just finished reading I Kissed Shara Wheeler, and I really liked Chloe Green in this book. I feel like she's just, I don't know, I really loved reading the book from her perspective. This is probably one of my favourite reads this year too, actually. I Kissed Shara Wheeler, would recommend. Yeah, but I thought she was just really cool, and I don't really know what was so like different about her that made me connect with Chloe's character, but I really liked her style from her POV, and just like the way she approached things, I guess, and how like open she was with herself. Another character that I really enjoyed so far this year was Olivia from Gallant. This book is by V.E. Schwab. Olivia was a really intriguing character. She was really different, kind of odd. Like, this book was quite gothic, and I really liked the way she thought and sort of wasn't really scared of anything, and she was just a really interesting out there character, so I enjoyed her. The next question is, what is the most beautiful book you've bought this year? So I have 3 copies of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. It is an obsession, yes, but a good one. So this one I actually didn't buy this year. Wait, let me come closer. This is the like original Australian paperback. This is the copy I actually read. Yeah, it's good. It's really pretty. I feel like all of V.E. Schwab's books are just quite gorgeous. But then this year I did get 2 more copies of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So this is the collector's edition one. Very exciting. Here's the front cover and the back cover. It's hardcover. It's also got detailing on the spine. And then it's got like heaps of beautiful artwork inside. You can see there. This is what it looks like without the dust jacket. And it even has V.E. Schwab's signature. So yeah, this is a very special book to me. The last copy I got also this year, only like within the last month, is the French edition of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I got it in Paris. Look how beautiful it is. So it's like a soft cover, but it's actually got a dust jacket. And that's like the artwork underneath. So yeah, my Addie LaRue collection is probably the most beautiful books I own and that I got this year. Yeah, okay, next question is, what's a book that you want to read by the end of the year? I don't have a book per se, but I would like to finish a lot of Cassandra Clare's books. I want to finish the Mortal Instruments and the Infernal Devices series. So I've read the first book in the Infernal Devices and I've got 2 more to go. So yeah, I should get onto them soon. And then I've also got the rest of the Mortal Instruments. I think I've read like 4 books and I've got maybe 1 left or something. I'm not sure exactly there. It's like hard to keep track of them. I generally read like 1 a month from Cassandra Clare, just because I like having a break between like reading different genres. So I like reading like 1 fantasy and then 1 romance and 1 mystery, etc. So it works well for me doing it that way. But I need to get on to reading another one soon. Okay, and then the last question today is, what is your favorite book to movie adaptation? I haven't read any books this year that are movie or TV show adaptations, but I am super excited because I did read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I'm super excited for the movie adaptation of that. They are just starting to make one, and they've announced it, which is like, yeah, it'll be awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. So that's wraps up my little mid-year book review questionnaire kind of thing. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment below any book recommendations you have, because I'd love to know. I always love chatting about books. Yeah, and stay tuned for more book content, because I really love books and I want to share more about it on this channel. If you did like this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and if you could subscribe down below, that'd be great. But otherwise, I'll see you in next week's video. So until then, bye.